I'll ask if everyone could take their seats. Thank you so much for being here. I want to say welcome, 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 and happy homecoming. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? It's such a pleasure to see so many familiar faces across the room. Thank you all for coming home. I am Crystal Piles, and I have the pleasure of serving as our Senior Director for Alumni and Constituent Engagement in the Division of Development and Alumni Engagement. And I want to welcome you all to Homecoming 101, The Renaissance. Thank you for being here at the State of the University address. I have a couple of quick announcements before I introduce our speaker. As everyone walked in, you should have received this handout with a QR code to update your information, your contact information. We have more outside in the lobby if you need, and if you have any questions about this form, please feel free to come ask me. I will be here for the duration of the program and after. You also should have received the President's Annual Report as you were walking in, and if you did not, you can get one on your way out in the lobby as well. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you all one of our very own, our 10th President and CEO, Dr. Mark A. Brown.
All right, good morning. Good morning. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And as long as you all can see, I'm just going to stay down here. Is that all right? All right. So, you know, it's all about progress. And if you were here last year, we had a couple of video things down here, and we had some things that looked like TVs, but we got a real big screen up there now that we can turn around things. So it's all about progress. It's all about progress. And I know that we are streaming this, so I know that there are those who will see it. I want to first thank you. Thank you. Let me introduce my roommate if you don't know her. Stand up for just a second. I want to do that. All right, see, I always tell the students, you know, you got to be all right at home when you go. So first things first. Let me start seriously by saying thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, the honor, the blessing to come to Mother Tuskegee and to oversee during this short era what we think will be transformational, what we are going to talk about today, Renaissance. We're going to talk about Renaissance as it relates to the state of the university. And I think that the state of the university is just that. I think all of you, those of you who are streaming in, those of you who are in the crowd, see yourselves as stakeholders. See yourselves as investors, owners of this amazing place that was given to us by our ancestors. Think of this as your period, your era, to make good on their commitment. Think of yourself as the preparers for those who will, long after we are gone, reap the benefits of Mother Tuskegee. That's what this meeting is really about. It's about me coming to you saying, this is where we are, and this is where we're going. And you have every right as an investor to be critical, to be curious, to put in your opinions, and then to be involved. Wouldn't you do that? You know, if we were here talking about your retirement savings, right? And I said, hey, everybody, come on, we're going to talk about your retirement savings, or as they say back home, your check. Right? I wouldn't have any problem getting your attention. Think about it like that. This is ours. This is ours. I get to sit here for a moment, but literally, this is ours. And we ought care about how she is managed and what we intend to do with her. And so that's what this is about. So the Renaissance, welcome to it. Let's go to the next slide, please. You know what it's really about? Because I always get asked, what is it about? Is it about artificial intelligence? Is it about building new things? Right? What is it really about? It is all of those things. You're right. All of those things are the tools. But you know what it's really about? At the end of the day, it is humans. We're never going to create anything as powerful, as worthy of investment than humans. It's about humans, the human experience, solving the problems of the human experience, and then solving the future for the humans to come, and then rewarding the humans that are here today doing the work and recognizing them for their true potential, and then investing in your sons and daughters that go around this campus each day so that when they leave, they don't hold their head down in anybody's room, anybody's boardroom, anybody's uniform. No, they're proud. They're confident. They speak up. They speak loudly and they boldly, and they stand for the things that we learn while we're here that we value. The Renaissance is about humans. And as we go through here, I'll tell you what the humans are going to do, but I don't want you to forget the main thing. Please don't ever forget the main thing. And I know some of you have tired of hearing me say students first. Well, hold on, because I'm getting ready to say students first, students first, students first, students first, students first. Because I believe in my heart of hearts that that's the main thing. That's why we're doing this. All right, let's keep going. And so, if I had to term it up, it is about the people. It's centered on the students, the faculty, the staff, the alumni. It embodies our legacy. All through this, we look back to look forward. We never forget from whence we come. But it is about innovation. It's about thinking, about resilience. Can I talk about resilience for a second? What concerns me about our brilliant students, and I've talked about this several times, is what happens when they get knocked down. Do they have the ability to get back up? So we talk about how we build resilience in them, not quitters. Because you and I know, when you leave these sacred grounds, it may not be so friendly anymore. And so our students have to be ready. They have to be resilient in everything that they do. And then a shared commitment to a brighter future. I know about all the traditions of homecoming. I know about it. The reason I know about it is because I lived it, all right? So when you all say, look, we like to come to homecoming and we like to go up on the avenue and we like to go to our favorite place and look, I know, because I did the same thing and do the same thing. But I'm asking for your shared commitment, not to the happiness necessarily of today, but to the future that we want. And that's where this comes in. It's everybody's game. All of the shareholders have a stake in this. Next chart. So here's the thing. We always talk about enrollment, and let's talk about why we talk about enrollment. What's the biggest source of revenue, especially at a private, historically black college and university? It's tuition and fees. Who pays it? Students. Some of you all say, I do, right? On behalf of my students. But it's the student, right? It's the student. And I want you to think about that when you think about our priorities as a university. It's the student and their families that have to choose us in order for us to exist. That means this number needs to be going up. It's at a 10-year high, but it's not as high as it's ever been. Right? Think about that. We're happy that it's at a 10-year high. We celebrate it's at a 10-year high. But it's not as high as it could be, and it's not as high as we want it to be. So when we say we need to build a new dormitory, it's because the ones that we have, they may not choose. When we say that we need to be safe and secure, it's because their parents may not choose us if they don't trust us to keep their children safe. It is really, literally, about the students that we have to market to and win. And that's why, if we're doing well financially, it's probably in large part because enrollment is going up. If it goes down, it hurts. And it really is as simple as that. So we're on a 10-year high. And you say, so why are we on a 10-year high? Every time I would tell you it's because of the people. And so these people, next chart, it's because of those people. They go out all over the country. They recruit. They work hard. They come to where you live, right? Now, I hear all the time alumni say, what can I do to be helpful? What if I don't have $1 million? I got you. Do you know any people? Do you go to church on Sunday? Stand up in your pulpit or wherever they stand in your church and say, I know a place where you can get a great education and come out with the best social and economic mobility in the country, and that is Mother Tuskegee. If you did that, you just sent me money in kind. So all of us can do that. All of us can market for Mother Tuskegee. And these folks will come to where you are. I know they go all over the place. They put on quite a show. I don't know if any of these people here this morning? Dr. Jefferson, is any of them here? They're out there working. They're out there recruiting. But if you see them on the campus, thank them, because they have a lot to do with the position of Tuskegee, and they work very, very hard. Next chart. And just like the math problem, just like the equation, first you put in the people, and that helps the money, right? So how are we doing? You should always want to know how we're doing, at least at the macro level. Let's look at that. So at the end of the day, at the bottom line, you want to know what? That your revenue has exceeded your expenses when they close out the books. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. If it flips the other way, you won't be in business long, right? Look at what that says, done for 25, surplus budget, projected for the end of this year, surplus budget. What drives it? Yes, philanthropy. Yes, contributions. But what drives it? Students. I want you to get inside the psychic of why I say students first. You get it? And I want you to tell your friends. That's really what it's about. That's really what it's about. We're very hopeful for the end of this year that we're going to do well. And that's why. Enrollment's up. Your contributions are up. We'll talk about that later. And that gets us to this. And when we have this position, it puts us in a position to experience the renaissance, the growth, the increasing of capability, which is what we really want, right? We want to be able to increase our capability, increase our growth, and attract more students. You all wake up now. Come on with me a little bit. We want to attract more students. All right. And it's all about the students. All right. All right. We're going to get through this. All right. Next chart. But I want you to say that some of this is intentional recruiting, right? In very, very deliberate recruiting. And we want to do more targeted recruiting. We grew in undergraduate, right? But we also grew in our graduate program. Although the small denominator makes for the same percentage, there are 31 more people to the right than there are to the left in the graduate side, right? That's important. It's important because we want more graduate students, and we want them to stay with us through the doctoral level. And the reason we want to be a high research-based university. The architectural term, the term that we use in academia is R2, but just take that to be a high research-based university that is paid through grants to do research that solves problems. That's what we want to do because that has been the heart and history of Tuskegee. And that's why intentionally we recruit at the graduate level. We want students to stay with us. And so, if you know someone that's graduating from somewhere else and they're looking to get a doctoral degree in engineering or some of those programs that we have, tell them to give Tuskegee an opportunity. And then I think that will help us get to that level. And I will show you some of the things that we have done intentionally to get there. But the most important thing, next chart. I want you to first see where our folks come from. because I remember I asked you to be recruiters for us. So I want you to see where they come from and what they're studying. Next chart. I don't know if you can see that. Are you from Georgia? Anybody from Georgia? I want you all to stand up just for, if you are in the Georgia club or you're recruiting from Georgia. All right, look, we sit in the state of Alabama, but Georgia has become the greatest recruiting ground for some reason last year of our thing. So thank you to the Georgia Alumni Club, everybody that's doing this. You have 27%, the greatest percentage of our students are from Georgia. Now, my brothers and sisters from Alabama, this is supposed to be your home game. You're supposed to win this, right? You're close. You're close, but you've been overcome by your friends in Georgia. But I do want you to see the diversity of those other states. We are getting students from all over the country. We really are. And this doesn't show you the international population. I'll talk about that later and how it's growing. But this is what we want. Recruit, recruit, recruit. Bring in more students. And then many of these things I will talk about will come to life as we have more students, more revenue, and they choose Tuskegee. Next chart. And what do they major in? What do they major in? This is their choice. I want you to think of this as a customer-owner relationship. What do they want? What do they tell us they want to be? Many years ago, and I believe it starts a little bit with certainly with Benjamin Payton, President Payton. He dedicated a lot of his resources and time to building up science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. If you look at it, it was about that time. Engineering building, that has become one of the calling cards of Tuskegee. Not the only one, but one of the calling cards of Tuskegee. Now why, and it isn't the only one, but why do we talk about engineering a lot? And why do we push engineering? I was asked that. Because of the economic outcomes. Everything that we say that we're going to do, social and economic mobility, I think every engineering that we graduate, unless they decide to go do something else, can be employed within a reasonable time of graduation. Any of the elements of engineering. Aerospace, chemical, mechanical, electrical, which means no matter where they start socially and economically, they're going to go probably a little further based on that initial degree. Now, that's not the only reason you go to college, I know that. But at Tuskegee, we say that the value of going to college outweighs the value of not going to college. Now, I want to give you a little bit more insight into your federal government and how they may be looking at this. So they have something called gainful employment rules that are inside of the latest bill. And it says that your degrees must cause more earnings than it would had you just simply graduated high school. And if not, they want to look at the federal funding that would be eligible for that particular degree. So they call it gainful employment, but that's essentially what they're talking about. Is your school worth the investment of federal money, Title IV money, those kind of things? And we want to say loud and clear, analyze it any way you want to, it pays to go to Tuskegee. That's what the position that we want to be in. We don't want to have to offer any excuses. We want them to look at the data and come to the conclusion themselves. I'm here to tell you that the degrees that you see up there, done the correct way, will do just that, on their own merit. And so if you look at animal, poultry, and veterinary science, a lot of those are pre-vet majors, Canes. And if you have not looked at what our Canes program does, with some of the extension services that we do across this state and even across the state line, I would ask that you do. That is a very, very well sought after college degree. And we are one of the better universities of doing that. We're an 1890 school. We were founded for that reason in a sense. We've been economically, I think, advantageous to the state because of that program. And so we're glad that 17% still choose to take that academic major. And our business courses, I would tell you our business courses, they do very well on internships. Inside of that is data science. And think of cybersecurity. Think of those things. That's a great academic major if you are at Tuskegee. The demand is huge. So we are constantly pushing the economic results of choosing a degree. And we're going to get better at that as time goes on. But as you are going out doing that recruiting that I talked about, would love to give you some material that allows you to put in front of a student, a student that's considering Tuskegee, and let them know what those decisions would mean if they chose to come to Tuskegee. Because that's the value proposition. College is expensive. I think we should step back from a second from living inside of academia and step all the way back to the kitchen table sometime and say a family's trying to make a decision on go to college or don't go to college or go to trade school, or what are you going to do? What does that parent really want? What do they really want for their child? What would you want? Would you care if they went to the place with the biggest mall? Huh? As a parent, would you? Would that be your concern? Right? What would you really care about? They're going to be well-fed. They're going to be safe. And then I think if you would say the quiet part out loud, I want them to get a job. That's what you would think. I really want them to get a job, and maybe you might say, get out of my house. I don't know. But this would be the subject, right? And that's why I think it's part of the value proposition. That's what it looks like at Tuskegee today. Next chart. I want you to look at this percentage, male to female. And why do I show you this? You can look at these statistics all over the country, most schools, HBCUs, schools that are not HBCUs. This is a warning sign, and it's several years old now. Black males are not choosing to go to college at the numbers that are necessary. And we are focused on it. How do we recruit and retain more? And when we get them, how do we retain them at college? That's a very important statistic, I think. We need to, as we are increasing the overall enrollment, we need to focus some of our recruitment on black males and convince them, the same decision that many of you all made, that it's worth 4 to 5 years of your life between 18, 22, or if you're coming back later, to spend time on a college campus developing. That although you're not making money immediately, your lifetime earnings will be much more, and all the data supports that. Your quality of life is likely to be better. How you take care of your family, all of those things, your health care, I could go on, could be shaped by your decisions in those 4 to 5 years. We got to make sure that gets through. My sense is it's not getting through across the country. As that statistic looks like that, the statistics on incarceration rise. And poverty levels and the wealth gaps in the country. So as a Tuskegee, I think we have to care about that. I think we have to figure out how do we get them excited to stay. One of the ways is to put the right images in front of them. Some of you are the right images. In fact, I would argue, I'm looking around, I don't see anybody that's not. Most of you all. I can't see everybody, but are the right images. And if I can put you in front of them in recruiting and you can tell them your story, I believe they may make a different decision. Okay, next chart, please. Can't see that as well as I would like you to, but those are students. Those are students. The king, Tuskegee king, they were crowned last night. Beautiful ceremony, they were crowned and robed appropriately. And if you haven't been to that, this is not like it was when you and I might have been in school. This is a really big deal. I mean, the robe is long. It's a really big deal. It is really a big deal. It really is. And those are just the optics. But what you might not know about that young man, who is from Warner Robins, Georgia, first name David. You know what he does? And he's done this 2 years in a row. I've watched him do it. He comes out, he gets everybody together, and they all take a run and raise money for prostate cancer. He's done it 2 years in a row. He volunteers to do it because that's what took his grandfather out. And he's committed to it. Doesn't get paid for it, doesn't get anything else for it. He is committed to it. Why do I bring that up? It's the kind of people we're looking for, right? Yeah, he's academically smart. He's a leader on campus. He wears the crown, all of that. But he never forgets fundamentally that he can make a difference in the world. I was at the student government meeting the other day, and I'll talk about a student here in a minute that's also part of the student leaders. And they were having all conversations about student government. Now, he has to go to a lot of these because I think he is one of the student leaders. But I happened to be sitting behind him. He was listening to them, but he was studying engineering on his laptop. He was. He was getting ready for something. I don't know if it was a test, and it was rocket engineering. And of course, with my level of knowledge, that's as far as I got, but I believe it was important. He was really listening to it. That's the kind of student we want. Those are the people that we are looking for to be Tuskegee students. Bring us more of those. That's what we're looking for. All right, next chart. That's him, by the way, there, Remington. Remington is the guy that was doing the study. If you run into Remington, you won't believe that he's as academic as you think because he tries to play it down, right, when you talk to him. But I'm telling you, Remington is a hard studying young man because I've been watching him. Our president, Avery Thomas, has stepped up into that job. Avery is a ROTC student. He wants very much to be an Army officer. All right? Very proud of Avery. This is what it's about. It really is what it's about. You want to know the Renaissance? It's Renaissance. It's what they will become one day. I hope we're around long enough to see it, but I'm excited about what they will become one day. That's the main thing. All right, next chart, please. And we started the Student Activities Board this year. Why did we start the Student Activities Board? Well, Dr. Rice, and you all know Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice, stand up. Dr. Rice, you all don't know him. Dr. Rice works very well with our students. I didn't see Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice looks quite preppy in school. I said, stand up one more time and turn around. Turn around. Looking good. Ain't he looking good? Looking good. He's looking real good. He really is. But Dr. Rice and I had a conversation. I said, look, only so many people get to participate in student government. And it really is those skills I talked about, those soft skills, those leadership skills. Figure out a way so the Right Reverend Cecil Duffy. But why am I excited about the Right Reverend Cecil Duffy? Because, let me correct this. The Right Reverend Cecil Duffy. That's the correct pronunciation. Thank you. So they had this prayer night. I think they've had more than one by now, but they had this. And look, we are not a school that says you must be in chapel at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, or you must be. We really don't. Maybe for some convocations, there's some requirements for freshmen, but this is on you. Either what we do attracts you, gives you the space to express yourself, or it doesn't. And let me tell you about this generation. If it doesn't, they're not coming. That's just, we're in the choice generation. They make choices, right? They chose on their own to come to this. They chose to be a part of the chapel. They chose to come here in a safe space to express themselves. And they felt safe doing it. And that happened really under the leadership, and I know that you know him, but stand up anyway, under Reverend Cecil Duffy. We want, and they got social media people, right? They got Instagram people and other stuff too, right? They got all of that because that's what the students want. So they're in here shouting and worshiping and doing all of this all at the same time. It's what they want. But what we want is for them to come to Tuskegee and feel like they can be themselves. And some of them are going to be athletic, and some of them are going to be just always in the engineering building, and some of them are going to need a couple of hours over here every week. We want the spaces so that they can be who they are. This helps us in that regard. Next chart, please. Students first. I told you we were going to talk about it, didn't I? Students first. Here's why these things are so important. And you will note that later on, if we talk about, I believe we talk about some of our renovations. We'll talk about a repurposing of the Russell Center for the nursery that you all are familiar with, and repurposed to a more expanded Students First building. Why are we continuing to say, if you don't make 80%, you got to go to, why are we continuing that? I just told you that 27% of our students come from Georgia. I think a little bit fewer percentage less come from Alabama. A lot of our students come from the South. Here's a fact. Every year when we take the standardized testing across the country, the K through 12 standardized testing, our states don't do well. Now there's a myriad of reasons why. You can talk about preparation. Some people believe there's some relationship to poverty. You can argue all of that, and that's good academically, but the truth is some are not truly college ready on day one. And that is not new. That's not new. The question is, what happens to them? What happens to them when it comes to college? There's another debate in the country at the federal level, and it starts with college is not for everyone. We're investing a lot in college. It's not for everyone. People live with debt. It's not for everyone. And, you know, it's a good argument that people make. Some people won't go to college. Some people will. You see, if you look at these standardized test scores, maybe they shouldn't come. And then, you know, some of us, we just get right on in that chorus, and we go, yeah, college is not for everyone. It starts sounding good, right? They show you the numbers. They have testimonies on it. But I want you to follow up with one question when you're in that debate. Is it for your children? Because if it's for your children, it's for mine too. I want the same thing that you want. And if there's anything I can do to get them ready, even if they don't start on go, like everybody, then I'm going to try to get them ready. We accept about 30% of our students. We are of our applicants. We're tightening that up. But once they get here, once we accept them, we should do everything we can. If it includes tutoring, if it includes some special work, whatever it includes to get them there. This is one of the mechanisms we use to do that. It doesn't replace the classroom, but it allows you to get more if you need more. And so remember that, I think, as part of the purpose of a Tuskegee. We're not Harvard, nor are we trying to be. You know, Harvard accepts what, 1%, 0.5% of its applicants, and then whoa, all of them graduate. Of course. But we have a broader mission here, a societal mission. Tuskegee always has. And this is part of that understanding. And we put resources and additional people in there. I'll talk later about some of the technology we put in there to make it work. Next chart. So if you were at the investiture, you heard me talk about Booker T, or a little model called Booker. Booker is generative AI, artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, I think, is inside of just about everything that we are doing and will grow in its, I think, relevance to everything, to almost everything that we do. It's also to our benefit to introduce it as much as possible to the student that will go out and live in that. Booker is essentially a bot, to use that term, that you take the curriculum and lesson plan for a particular program, and you give it all to Booker as well. And so if we were doing distributive property or mathematics in class that day, you might go and say, I didn't get it. You go see the tutor, they give you a little bit more. But then you can ask Booker. You can do the problem, and Booker can say, you missed a step here. Literally say, you missed a step here. Let me give you another one and try this concept. then you can try it. Booker might say, that's better, but don't forget to do this. If you can sit in that chair long enough, Booker can extend your day much longer than we would ever be able to employ enough humans to do. And our folks are of the digital generation. Everything that they do is somewhere in the palm of that phone that's in their hand. So they are very, very comfortable. Because I know some of you are saying, yeah, but that's not a human. And they are more comfortable with Booker than they may be with you. That's just the generation that we're in. And so we're introducing this with the intent to get better outcomes in some classes. And we're starting with math. Specifically, we're starting with Math 107. We can do math. We can do math. And I want us to accept that and never accept the latter. We can do math. We can do math. And our students can do math. Next chart. So that's Booker. I don't know if we can make Booker say anything. Let's see if we can make Booker say something.
My dear students, when I established this institution, I believed education must be both practical and empowering. Algebra serves this same purpose today. It's not just numbers on a page, but the foundation for engineering, science, and the systematic thinking that leads to true success. I will meet you exactly where you are and build your understanding step by step. Every equation we solve connects to real problems in your future career. I will challenge you because I believe in your potential, and I will support you every step of the way. Just as we built Tuskegee from humble beginnings into something magnificent, we will build your mathematical confidence together. There is no shame in asking questions, no limit to how much you can achieve with proper effort. Remember, education is something you actively claim for yourself. No one can take it away once you've earned it. You're not just learning algebra. You're developing the habits of thought that will serve you throughout your life. I am honored to be your teacher. Together, we will prove that with dedication and the right guidance, you can master any subject and achieve any worthy goal. Now, let us begin this important work. Your future depends on the foundation we build here together.
So then Booker will go in and they'll ask Booker a question. They'll show Booker a problem. They'll try to do it. Booker will tell them if they got it right or wrong and what they got wrong if they did. And then he'll take them through the concept again at their speed. They can play Booker over and over again until they get it. Until they get it. So we're piloting this. Culture Fly is the name of the small organization that we are partnering with on this. And we're going to see how much we can use Booker as time goes. Booker would work for chemistry, certainly with our freshmen who are facing those courses where we see the greatest challenges. That's what the Renaissance is about. It's about getting past these understandings that there are things we can't do. Enough of that. We can do math, we can do chemistry, we can do anything anybody else is doing, and we're going to use all the technology available to help us get there. All right, next chart, please. But it's about the people. It's also about the people that aren't in school, but used to be. It's about alumni who embrace us and give us their resources beyond what we ever could have imagined. You all know the young lady up there in the blue? So Ms. Harrington, and I use Ms. Harrington as an example as she teams with us on raising money, is what I call a living testimony. All right? It worked for me. I want it to work for you. I will tell you that we were given this briefing, or a similar briefing, not too many months ago. And we talked about students first. And we talked about the outcomes. And she was so moved that she wrote a check. And I'm not telling you to be so moved, but if you are, follow Ms. Harrington's example. But my point is this, and we'll talk about the importance of alumni, the importance of giving, the importance of us believing in the future of our people, and what everybody can do to your own means, your own ability. But really, we are stronger together. I tried to make this point during the investiture, and I'll keep trying to make it. There are enough forces outside of us for an enemy. We don't need it inside. And I need some more Dr. Elaine Harringtons that are going to strap it on and do the best that they can for the programs wherever they believe they best fit. That's what we need during the Renaissance era. Thank you, ma'am, for continuing to do that. So if you go and you make a decision to work and serve at a historically black college and university, as an instructor, as a teacher, as a researcher, even as the support folks that are here, it's probably true that you don't do so for the money. It's probably true. You probably could go somewhere else, probably, and do financially better if you wanted to. So it really is service. And I just want to remind everybody, this really is service. And it's also science as well as an art. And if you're inside of it every day, it's a lot harder than if you look at it from the outside. And I'm telling you that. It's a lot harder if you're inside every day. So I am very grateful for the people who make the decisions, and you can go to the next chart, to work here. And some of the things that they are doing that have not done before. Dr. Burks is looking at working with the LA School District in order to establish a pathway for those who decide they want to be teachers. And this is just one example. Now, the interesting thing about our new dean of the School of Education is she came out of Tuskegee. She went out of the field and she succeeded in education. So it makes perfect sense to me that we put her in front of the students and let her every day tell and walk around in her own shoes, right? Saying this is what's possible. And being bold enough to look broadly across the country and say, where might this take you? And have places like LA, where we have partnerships, where we're willing to send our graduates, and before they become graduates, so they can see what it means to work in those environments, if that's what they choose to do. And I will tell you, while teaching may not pay as much as some would like, it definitely guarantees you employment. Because every teacher that we graduate is employed in teaching if they want to be. All right. Dr. Catherine Armwood, our new Dean of Architecture. If you have not met her, I want you to. And she's looking at architectural engineering, the intersection of the two. Why? Because that's what economics, that's what demand, that's what students are looking for. As she begins to grow back, and we need to grow back the number of architectural students that we used to have. I mean, if you just spend some time, if you have time, Googling the architectural designs that are on the campus of Tuskegee, you would see that this is a beautiful place, and it's not by mistake. We've had some of the brightest minds in architecture to ever exist to come from Tuskegee and do the work at Tuskegee. That's where she's headed. And I just talked about Dr. Duffy and his ability to connect with the students and fill that void. That's what was on the new team. Next chart. I want to let you know that we did a worldwide search, and it's literally a worldwide search. We hired a firm to find our next dean of the School of Veterinary Medicine. It was critical that we find the right dean for the School of Veterinary Medicine. And we had experts helping us, to include alumni. And I think Dr. Reed is in here. Is Dr. Reed is here? Dr. Reed, stand up for a second. Dr. Reed, work with me on this. So you ask what alumni can do? Well, Dr. Reed, who led the School of Veterinary Medicine at Purdue, who led them through some accreditation issues, helped build a new school there. They are successful. He's the Dean Emeritus there now. Was right by our side trying to select the best potential person. And we were not biased. They could have come from anywhere. They could have been Tuskegee graduates or not. We wanted to find the best person. But the best person did come from Tuskegee. Right? I like to say that we went all the way around the world, then we came back home because Dr. Ebony Gilbreth has been selected. She's ready to do it. She's been there before. She grew up in this town. I like to say she's had a various number of jobs. I mean, she used to take care of the race dogs at the dog track to make sure they were ready to race. Just saying, that's a diverse, that's a diverse background in veterinary medicine. So I'm glad that she's with us, and I'm glad that she's willing to lead, and I'm excited, as I'll talk later, about what we're trying to do in the School of Veterinary Medicine. Next chart. You may not know Dr. Beatty because she's not going to run in here and say, I'm Dr. Beatty and I'm doing this thing, right? You got to go over there by Carver Research Center. You got to go in back room. You got to knock on the door just to get her to talk and share it with you. But she is a great scientist. She is an outstanding scientist. And she's been recognized in the state of Alabama as one of its top women. And she loves Tuskegee. I mean, I meet with her about every 6 weeks, I think it is. And because I want to talk about the First Scientist program, I want to talk about the cancer research, I want to talk about how we expand that. So I specifically make sure I meet with them. She is doing great work as it relates to what we will have in the Genomic Center that you're seeing being built. Prostate cancer, breast cancer, cervical cancer, things that challenge us in the black belt more so than other diseases and at a rate that's higher. When I say the Renaissance era, just to bring it in focus, I'm talking about creating people who are researching problems that we need to solve as a country. Not because we're an HBCU or whatever the other terms they give in a PWI or DEI or any of that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cancer, which knows no age limit, knows no gender, right? Knows no demographic. It will hit anybody. So if you solve that, or if you're a part of the solution, the world will be the path to your door. That's what the Renaissance era is about. It's about putting our time and resources on things that people care about. Everybody cares about it. Almost all of us have had some family member affected by this, some neighbor, right? They're working on it. They're working on it. And Dr. Beatty is a part of that. And so I want to do everything I can to keep the Dr. Beatties here. And so some of the money that comes into Tuskegee is going to be to pay scientists more. That's important because it is important that we pay them at least some value of their worth. And they're worth a lot. And we want the best scientists to do what? Come here. So if we want to be a high research-based university, we must add the grants, we must get more of them, we must be working on the things that people care about, and some of that is earned must go to them personally and to them building the infrastructure in which they do their research. We have to have that mindset about our resources at Tuskegee. It's an investment in human capital. Next chart. Dr. Nady, you all know, who is also working with our board of trustees, he brings the voice of those on the staff here. He also is aggressively recruiting on the continent of Africa. Because if you track this thing about the male population, where is it concentrated and looking for the place to be educated? Not the top tier in Africa, not the most wealthy, not the least wealthy, but that middle tier is where you find a concentration of black males. And, frankly, they have gone down in their participation on the campus of Tuskegee. We had far more international students, I can say, 25, 30 years ago, than we have today. Now, there are visa issues and all other kinds of issues, but can we go back and recruit in those areas? And can we bring more people back? Dr. Charm, the Needy, and some others that are going out, our provosts, they are specifically targeting those areas for more students. And we have some data that says it's beginning to catch on. Next chart. The Staff Senate. The Staff Senate and Ms. Jones. Do anybody know Ms. Jones other than me? Everybody knows Ms. Jones. You know, I see Miss Jones on the campus, and I don't, in my 15 months, she hadn't had a bad day. The smile you see up there, it's permanent. She is always happy. I don't know why. She is always happy. And she's always willing to be of assistance to us. And she's working on those issues that have to do with the development of the people that work here. LinkedIn Learning. It was their initiative that brought that forth. We got many of our instructors and staff that are using the LinkedIn Learning paid for by the university in order to develop themselves. You can get certifications there. You can do much of what we're talking about, artificial intelligence. You can start some of that discussion through LinkedIn Learning. She helped push that through the staff and make sure they understood it. It's that kind of work from within that will help us sustain what we want to do. It really is about the people. Next chart. And all of our leadership team. And I want to tell you that sometimes when I start a discussion with many people, they tell me, you know, I want to help Tuskegee, but you know, back in 1973 when I went to the financial aid, and the lady there, you know, she wouldn't answer the phone. She don't work here no more, just so you know. She don't work here no more. And there's nothing I can do about what happened in 1973. But I can tell you this. We are trying our best to hire the best talent that we can find to come to Tuskegee and to help do this transformation that we are talking about. 90% of that cabinet is new, relatively new. And so that's very intentional, very intentional. And with the exception, I think we got Dr. Samuels there and Dr. Rice, we kept them. Because they were real good. That's why we kept them, because they were real good. That's why we kept them. But everybody else, and if you're here and you're on that chart, please stand up, if you would. I want people to know who the cabinet members are if you're here. They all have very difficult jobs. They all have lots of tasks. And it's not easy. It's not easy work. But if we are to be successful, it would be because we have hired the right people to do the job. It's always been that way, and I don't think anything has changed. And we know that no hire is perfect. We know that no one comes with 100% of all the skills that you want. So we must develop them as well, right, if there are areas that development is required. Next chart. So what's going to happen academically to make the Renaissance what we're talking about? All of those programs are a part of the Renaissance and their growth. Some new, some more energy into them, but all of those programs. Next chart, or the ones that we're going to highlight. So we now will have a sports management degree. I think that's important. And let me tell you about the athlete that we're looking for. I'm going to talk about athletes a little bit here for a second. The young man there, number 33. Remind me of his name again? Austin. Right. So Austin was on the team last year. Austin had, I think, at least 2 internships. Austin was an engineering major. Austin graduated at the top of the class. At the top of the class. Austin had job offers. He did. I'm sure of this. Austin said, no, I'm going to continue my master's degree. Austin's still on the campus right now doing that. This is what we're looking for. I know, I hear about it all the time. You know, you're going to have to get this kind of athlete and that kind of athlete. I'm just going to tell you, we want to win. We want to win at least 80% of our games. But we want athletes that are scholars. They're out there. They're out there. And that's who we're looking for. We're looking for the Austins of the world that play basketball and can do the academic rigor that is at Tuskegee. And he did it. He did it very, very well. And we want to be able to offer the kinds of degrees where there is interest in the country and also interest in our students. That's why the sports management degree is up there. And a part of what we're going to grow as we grow sports in general at Tuskegee. Next chart. PhD in computer science, officially launched. That's there. We're doing it. We're doing it. So those people out there can consider this program. They can consider this program. Engineering, Tuskegee, those should be synonymous. Why wouldn't you get a PhD in computer science in addition to what you're doing out of our School of Business? Why wouldn't you not do that? It's available now. Next chart. College of Veterinary Medicine. I want to have a quickly accreditation update because I know that's been there. Next chart. First of all, what has changed? And if you didn't know, I'll keep telling you, the Westminster Press Veterinarian of the Year, Dr. Trayton Diggs, is a Tuskegee graduate. I just want to remind you, the Tuskegee graduate. And that's a big dog, too. And so so part of what we were challenged with was clinical resources. Our data shows that we've increased clinical resources by 21%, the way they measure it, the way the accreditors measure it. And that means the students have more to work with, right? Experience is what we're talking about, hands-on experience. Well, we've made that number jump by 21%. Internship, the pass rate, that's the test that they take after graduating, that we said we had to get up to 80%. And a lot of this had to do with Dr. Garbra's intervention, went up by 21% in 1 year. We went from 51 to 72%. And there is, you got to always do the math. There is this power of denominators. And so if you got 60 students, and, if 48 of them or 50 take it, if 2 more had passed, we would have been well above the 80%. So in real time, we have made significant increases in that. But when you got small denominators, 2 can make the difference, right, in what you're doing. We're going to do this, is my point. We've got the right intervention. I think we've got the right leader. Once again, we're going to go back to the days, because if you look at Tuskegee School of Veterinary Medicine, and you look back far enough, 90%, 95%, most of our folks that came to School of Veterinary Medicine was passing this test with no problem. With no problem. And so we must return to that, and that's where we're focused. Next chart. And so we've gone through the process. There is a hearing scheduled for December 5th on this, and we're working it from all angles. Last week, I spent in Washington on Capitol Hill talking to everybody that was elected, House and Senate, from the state of Alabama, saying that Tuskegee deserves due process. We deserve more than 2 hours. We deserve it in a reasonable period of time, and we deserve to have the current data reviewed. Republicans, Democrats alike, talked to all of them. And I also told them that the School of Veterinary Medicine has a big economic impact on the state of Alabama, as well as the nation. And by the way, we've been doing this for 80 years in School of Veterinary Medicine. And you don't just kind of unilaterally make a decision on something you've been doing for 80 years. It deserves more than 2 hours in a hearing on December 5th. They all agreed, no one disagreed. They all agreed to sign a letter to the Department of Education. The Department of Education oversees the accreditors, to ask that we be given more due process than what we've been given thus far. So we're taking this on. We asked the governor of Alabama to do the same. And I don't know if that letter came in, but it's supposed to come in today from the governor of Alabama saying the same thing. We plan to provide that through the Department of Education to the accreditors to ask for more time, and we believe we're justified in that regard. I will tell you, we also are going to do the legal route as well, filing an injunction in the Middle Court of Alabama, and we've got legal counsel to do this. That's going to occur perhaps in the next couple of weeks, if we have not stayed the December 5th hearing by that time. I tell you that because when that occurs, media people will talk about this, because they will see it filed publicly, and they will talk about it. We have an engagement strategy. We have a firm, and we're going to engage publicly. And our story is very simple. Our story is very simple. We just want a fair process. We want the accreditors to follow the same rules that they wrote and that they would follow for anyone else. We provided financial data, end-of-year statements, audited, that showed we were financially solvent. We broke grounds on the first part of the small animal clinic, $18 million investment, thanks to the stewardship, by the way, of our trustees, without any debt. So we're financially solvent. We may not have been at the same place in 2021, but today we are, and you would have to look at that. That's our position. We provided data that showed that 21% increase, that 13% increase in clinical expertise, and we showed the trajectory of the test results. We just want a fair opportunity to review that. That's what we're going to say publicly. I'm telling you all that now. That's what we're going to say loudly. And then we're going to say, if you go out and go to a veterinarian in this country and they're a veterinarian of color, there's 75% chance they graduated from Tuskegee. Right? And while we would say there are other schools that have had far more resources, I think we have done with the resources quite a bit. And so we just want more time to work on what we think is valuable. And I thank Dr. Reed and others. I thank the trustees for their support and financial support on this. And we're going to build a new vet school. And so one question is, are you going to build a new vet school? No matter what, we are. No matter what happens to this decision, we're going forward to build a new school of veterinary medicine because of how much we believe in that process. All right, next chart. Next chart. So I don't know if Dr. Dolores Alexander is here, but she is all over growing this graduate school program. And she is keeping up with the data and the recruiting and what we're trying to do. And look at the numbers. Look at that growth. She's doing that. And now, not her alone, but she's all over getting it done. And I think she used to be the interim dean, but she's not the interim anything anymore. She's the dean of graduate school because she has got the right focus, and I am very, very happy with the work that she's doing. That's very intentional, right? Because it requires a number of doctoral graduates in order to become a high research-based university. So that's exactly what we're tracking to. Just like we said a year ago, we want to be a high research-based university. That has not changed in the strategic planning of Tuskegee. That is our goal, and this is intent to grow in this way. Next chart. International outreach. I talked about that a little bit. Look at where those students come from. The continent, right? There is opportunity on the continent. And we want to take advantage of that and some other areas as well. But let me tell you something. We have to become a friendly campus, friendlier for international students. I met with the international students and international faculty, and they told me stories about landing at Atlanta Airport. Now, no matter who you are, landing at Atlanta Airport is not easy. But can you imagine if you have a bit of a language barrier, and you know you're supposed to go to Tuskegee, you got your ticket and your visa squared away, and you're out there in the international, and you don't know what to do next, right? And everybody you talk to say, you want to go where? And you can't quite say Tuskegee, right? Can you imagine what that situation looks like for that student? So we have to have a little bit more aggressive sponsorship, right? And then when you get here, you have to find out things like, where am I going to live? What's a driver's license for in this country? How do you get it? All of these kinds of things, we have to do better. And I think the bridge that makes them an active citizen here and student and all of those kinds of things, we have to do better at that so that we are friendlier, if you will, as a university. We know that. We know that. That's why I think if we recruit more, we have to, be ready for them when they get here. And we do intend to recruit more. Next chart. And exploring the global PhD requirement pipelines. So one thing I know Dr. Charm has been a big part of this, is looking for agreements where we get agreements that they will continue here and continue from their country, sometimes sponsored by their country, all the way through the doctoral program. All of this is that pathway that I talked about to being a high research-based university. All of this is a high research-based university. And that's why we're putting the emphasis on these kinds of things. Next chart. TU Global, we're down. It's been very difficult to find the right talent to run TU Global. And I will tell you why. We talked about TU Global a couple of times in international enrollment, and we talked about the global campus and standing it up. So the thought was that we were looking for an academician. At one point, that was the thought. That's not it. And I'll tell you why, because if you look at what works and what doesn't work, the very first thing you have to have probably is somebody with an MBA. Because the question is, will this be financially independent on your balance sheet? And will you be able to do it that way? So we had to relook at that, relook at the opportunities that we had there. We want someone with a business mindset initially, so that we build a business case, we know that we're on solid ground. Most that fell because the business case was not right from the beginning. And so we're relooking at that. All right, next chart. And so current PhD production, 14 students in the following programs. The benchmark that you have to sustain is 25. I believe that's right, on the R2 side. Yep, we got 14, not counting the vet school. Or 20, not counting the vet school, because the vet school doesn't count in this program. If the vet school counted, we would have been there many years ago, right? We are more than halfway there, is my point, in those programs. And that's without the maturity of the new programs. So I know that we can get there. Next chart. 25 students got half tuition this year. The biggest barrier for students staying with us is tuition. That's the biggest barrier. So where do they go? By the way, there are some schools that can't wait to have them. Yale, let's say they've done good at Tuskegee. Yale would love to have them. MIT would love to have them. Helps their programs. And that's okay. I'm glad if that's where they want to go. But we need to make sure that they have an option to stay here and that it isn't tuition that's standing in front of them. So when you dedicate your money or your donations to the endowment or programs like that, see that as institutional aid, as our ability to remove the tuition barrier for the right students, at the right time and after they've done all the other kinds of things that are necessary. Specifically, talented students that are qualified to continue on through the doctoral program. That's what those contributions are for. So if you're standing in front of, the word endowment is a academic term. So if you say to somebody, hey, can you give me some money for the endowment? They probably say no, because they don't really understand 100% of what that means, right? Probably. But if you say, if you give me an endowment, this student will be able to continue on with their education, they get that, right? So as you're talking about that, this is really what we're talking about. Next chart. School of Nursing and Allied Health. And I want to make sure, where's my nurse from where's Dr. Hicks at? There's Dr. Hicks. Because y'all give Dr. Hicks a round of applause. Now I'm going to tell you, remember when I told you that you need to be getting feedback, good and bad? Dr. Hicks will let you have it about the School of Nursing. Rightfully so, right? I mean, rightfully so. Given the history of the School of Nursing, given everything that nurses do for this country, we ought to make sure that they're at the center of what we do. And I will tell you, they are, and they're doing incredibly well. When we talk about pass rates of your exams, their pass rate the last time was what? 100%. Wow. 100%. Some of that is alumni support as well. So I just wanted to thank you publicly for what you all do for the school. And if you don't get a chance to go over there, I wish that you would. The students that are there are fired up about what they're going to do. They get to wear their scrubs. I was over there for a luncheon. They are very proud of their scrub. I mean, everything. They're doing research. This is a dynamic place to work, and they support each other. It's a great environment to be in. So if you know folks out there that want to be nurses, I can think of no better place. They can do it right here at Tuskegee, the oldest school of nursing in this state. All right, thank you. Aviation program. So the Renaissance era, what does it mean? I talk about our brand. When you really have a brand, you don't have to go tell people to come see you to tell your story. They come beating down your door. We have had requests from CNN, and we did that one. I don't know if you saw it. We got requests, if they're not here this week, New York Times, right? We got requests from Good Morning America. We're going to be on Good Morning America. Why is that? We didn't go out and solicit them. We didn't go out and say, hey, will you come tell the story? Because they are amazed that we're taking these young people back to Moton Field, and teaching them once again how to fly airplanes. And they're doing it. Not just talking about it in the classroom. They're in the air, getting their license and practicing what we talk about. After all these years, they're still doing it. And historically, they're doing it, at Tuskegee, where our Tuskegee Airmen proved that we can fly complex aircraft and had the courage to go in combat if necessary. This is an amazing story. And if you can't sell this, then you just can't sell, because this is an amazing story that everybody can get a hold of. And they're trying to. They're trying to. So wear that with pride. As you're out there talking, say, yeah, we teach people to fly. We still teach people to fly airplanes. And also I will tell you this, that it's expensive to go through this kind of training. And I've said it over and over. Senator Katie Britt sits on the Appropriations Committee in Congress. The Appropriations Committee puts things in the budget. Senator Britt put in the budget $6.7 million so that we did not have to charge the students to learn how to fly. She did it. She did it more than once. If we ever open the government up again and we get an appropriations bill, there's a line in there for this program, and it was put in there by Senator Katie Britt. So, I will tell you that we don't do politics in school. We are neutral. We're Switzerland. We don't do politics. I think what we do is outcomes. And no matter how you count it, red or blue, 6.7 million is still 6.7 million. And so, if we don't agree on anything else, we don't have to agree on anything else, we agree on 6.7 million, right? So we're grateful for this program. It allows students who otherwise would not get a chance to do it to get a chance to do it. You don't have to be wealthy to take flying lessons at Tuskegee and to get through the aviation program. You just have to be qualified. It's a merit-based program. So that's really what we want. Next chart. And we keep showing this young lady, and the reason I keep showing her, why do I keep showing her? The reason I keep showing her, yes, she has a great smile. But the reason I keep showing her is because, yes, there's an aviation shortage in the country. That's true, and it has been for some time. It's almost immeasurable how many young ladies of color fly airplanes. The percentage is almost immeasurable. But half of the class are female. So we are breaking barriers. We are breaking barriers again. Next chart. And Isaiah as well, and I'm sure, and Isaiah, let me just tell you, Isaiah is not camera shy. He likes, he can get into this. He can get into this. But he's a great spokesperson also for the university on this program. He is also in the band. Right? He's in engineering, and I believe ROTC. Can you imagine his schedule? He does all of that. And I say when he gets out of the university, gets out of here, nothing's gonna faze him. He's gonna be confident. He's gonna be able to battle lots of things. He's already confident, maybe a little bit overconfident. But he's gonna be able to handle this. He's gonna be able to handle it. All right, next chart. I will because it provides a very good example. The NCAA basketball finals last year. You may not watch it, but let me just tell you what happened. So a guy throws the ball. The game's almost over. It's a 1-point difference, I think. Throws the ball from one end of the court to the next. Alabama State had made the first round. The other guy from Alabama State catches it. I don't even know if he was intending to throw it to, but he threw it the whole length of the court. The guy puts the ball up off the bank. Alabama State wins. March Madness. All of a sudden, the applications to Alabama State shot up. Right? I'm just telling you, you can check with them. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to be a Hornet. Now, I mean, I'm not, look, I know some of you all may be connected to Alabama State. I'm just saying it just defies logic, but that's what happened. That's what happened. That is really what happened. And it had to do with the power of athletics and the spirit and everything that goes into that. We have to play in that game. It's not just a joke when I say win 80% of your games. If we're going to invest in athletics, we want outcomes. We want the excitement. We want all of that that goes with it. And we plan to work to get it. Next chart. So we want to build a new athletic complex. We want to do it. And while you will not hear as much about it this year as the subsequent year, you will, just like you're hearing about the vet school now. We want to build a new athletic complex. And there's reasons why for that as well. Next chart. Because we're bringing soccer. And this is not like we're bringing soccer 10 years down the road. No, we're bringing soccer 12 months down the road, right? In time for the World Games when they're in Atlanta. We're bringing soccer to Tuskegee. And I know it will sell, and I know people will come. Can you imagine that Tuskegee, can you imagine that? With these international students that are attracted to come to school for soccer, and they're doing so under the Tuskegee realm. That is going to be powerful. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it right here and with the leadership that we have. And we've already started the planning of this. Next chart. That's what that soccer field might ultimately look like. All right? Those are not our players yet, but they will be. They will be. All right, next chart. And our track around it, right? Multi-purpose. Multi-purpose. And I hope you're following our track team, men and women, indoors and outdoors. If you like track, you need to follow them. Next chart. So we got to go, I think it was Macon, Georgia. A year ago, I went to one of these, and I told A.D. Ruffin, I said, I'm tired of sitting here watching everybody else get these trophies. I'd like to get one too. Lo and behold, 1 year later, top team in our conference, overall, all athletics, most wins, academics, Tuskegee. We got the trophy. And if you'll go back, well, that's okay. You can stay right here. And you all have done with your contributions, all of those things that you see under enhancements. And our field looks good. Our field looks good. It really looks good. And yes, we had a night game. And I got a lot of jokes about that. Come on, you guys are getting excited about turning the lights on. Well, if you've never turned them on, it's exciting. Right? So yeah, we were very excited about turning the lights on. I'm not embarrassed by that. We turned the lights on. But I want you to look at that little line down there at the bottom. 87 students across the thing, 3.2 or higher. Those are the athletes that we're looking for. Those are the athletes that we are looking for. All right, next chart. Tomorrow, we're going to rename the field, not the stadium, so don't get up and ride. The stadium will still be Cleve Abbott Stadium. We would not dare touch that. But the field will be named after Coach Willie Slater and Coach Rick Comegee, the most winning football coaches in the history of Tuskegee. And in a pregame ceremony tomorrow, if you're there that early, we're going to officially rename that stadium. And then we will do the optics of that later on as the year goes on. Honoring our past, investing in our future. That is the Tuskegee way. Much of what is the Tuskegee's history of winning, the most winningest team, it's on the backs of these men who were coaching football here. So we're going to properly recognize them at the pregame show tomorrow. Next chart. So, today is different. And if you are not participating in NIL in some way, collective, then you can't compete for athletes. So if you want the best quarterback out of Miami that's not going to go Division I but wants to go Division II, you're going to have to pay him. It's not my rule. I'm just telling you that's the reality. And if you don't, you're going to say, I'll give you a 100% scholarship. Okay, great. What else do I get? It's a different world. It is a different world. And so we have to have our own collective. We have to have our own NIL. We got some great information from experts in the board meeting earlier this week. We got our folks who have already started on it. You will have an opportunity to contribute to it. We have to have a fund that we can go to, and I'm going to simplify this, that allows us to enhance the offer to athletes that are competitive. And that's the only way. Some of our athletes, some of our great athletes, they are here and then they are not. And you said, what happened to that great wide receiver? Somebody paid him more. And so now he's on the other side of the game, right, that we're having. And we see them sometimes. And they're just as good on the other side as they were when we recruited them. We have to be a part of that. You will see that. You'll see an opportunity to contribute to that if we want to compete. And we will. We will. You will see that very soon. Next chart. And so if we say athletics are important, then we ought to move the athletic director's title to the cabinet level position. And we're going to do that. So our athletic director is going to become the vice president of intercollegiate athletics, effective Monday. So, A.D. Ruffin, if you would stand up. Thank you. So, I mean, he humbly stood up there, but you got to know A.D. Ruffin. He works. He's not quiet in any way. And he's fired up about athletics, and it's just not athletics. What we've done here is our band gets support from the athletic director, right? Others, our cheerleaders, get support from the athletic director. Why? Because we want them to grow too. We want the band to grow. We want the cheerleaders. We got more than one of our mascots because we don't want a tired mascot. We want them to have rest, right? We want to show up. If you see our buses, you've seen our new buses? We want to show up as Tuskegee. In the Renaissance era, we want the name to mean something. I want fear in the hearts of our opponents when we drive into the campus to play them. And if it's the tiger on the bus, or if it's our mascot, I don't care, but I want them to know that we're there for business. And so we're going to invest in athletics, and I believe that there is a relationship to enrollment and the marketing of Tuskegee that's significant. That's why. Next chart, and congratulations to our athletic director. Let me quickly talk about some of these projects, and some of you know about them, but if you go around and you see some dirt that's moved and you see a sign, those are part of the projects that we have started. A year ago, a little bit over a year ago, I told you we were going to start them, right? I told you we were going to do these projects. We're not talking. We're not just talking. We're digging up stuff. We're doing things, right? We are starting these projects. The Renaissance era is not theoretical. We're doing it, is my point. Let's go through a few of these. The College of Veterinary Medicine, Small Animal Hospital is the first one. There's all kinds of reasons for that. Increasing the capacity, increasing the capability, and modernizing it. We talked about the accreditation issues. We must invest in this, right? We have the first phase. We know what we're doing with the first phase. The money that we have is from the interest earned and the good fiduciary management, I'll say it again, of the Board of Trustees. And so if we have any members of the Board of Trustees, I want you to stand for just a second. Thank you. So because of them, because of their stewardship, we've got the first phase started. We've got the contractor selected, right? The architectural plan's done. We're on our way to build a new College of Veterinary Medicine, Small Animal Hospital first. Next chart. And that's some sense of ultimately what we might be talking about. Right? Right? And we love pets, by the way. Next chart. I just want to tell you all something. I always tell students, I always say, you don't sell anything you don't use. So, Gwen and I are the pride new parents of both Crimson and Piper, our two animals. And last week I signed them up for service at the College of Veterinary Medicine. So we're going to use a product that we're going to help build. And they are as friendly as they look in that picture. All right, next chart. The Reach Center. I said we're going to build a new Reach Center. We're putting it where the nursery used to be, and we're going to make it state-of-the-art. So we're going to put our money where our mouth is. When we say go to research place, go do your tutoring there, we're going to make it a place that they want to come to. And that's not a bunch of hard chairs and desks. That's out. There needs to be some Wi-Fi and wireless and those kind of things where they study. So that's what we're looking for, the modernization of it. Next chart. The Genomics Center, if you go back behind Carver, you will see a big hole and a lot of contractors working. Genomics Center is on track. High research being done at Tuskegee. High research being done at Tuskegee. Next chart. Tuskegee Village, we have the board's conceptual approval of that. I can tell you in advance, we're looking to lease land in exchange for capital and the building of it. We have narrowed it down to the person that was doing the work, the group that may be doing the work. And as we go further on that, we'll be telling you more. Those are modernized apartment-style housing for our students, specifically juniors and seniors, graduate students. And it's not just the apartment itself. You can eat there. You can physically work out there, right? That's what students are asking for. That's what we're en route to building, Tuskegee Village. And if you want to know where it's located, you know where the married student apartments are? Right behind there, as we begin to develop that way toward the campus. Next chart. And so you got to think about this. And I don't have our engineer with us today. But one of the things I asked our engineer to do was imagine what the avenue in some of these places may look like. We have to get away in the Renaissance era from the windows that are broken out in some of our old buildings, that are historic buildings that we're really not allowed and should not tear down. But we need some functional use of them, at least on the outside, right? And so as he begins to explore that and figures out which one is in the budget, he has lots of images of exactly where we're going. And I want you to see where we're going in the Renaissance era with some buildings that you know about. Next chart. So imagine the old administration building. It has played a role in many of our lives when we were here. I will always call it the financial aid building. Because it used to be the financial aid building. I knew about the old administration building. But we need something on the outside that tells people what the history of that is, and we need to at least fix the cover. Part of our planning. Next chart. Carnegie Hall. In discussions with the Carnegie family on what we can do with Carnegie Hall. But not just let it sit there and decay. Right? We have to have a better plan at the National Historic Site for Carnegie Hall. Next chart. Corps of Cadets. So some of you may participate in the ROTC Hall of Fame tonight, and I'll talk a little bit about the Corps of Cadets. So why the Corps of Cadets? And we have a history of service that is really steeped. And no HBCU has a Corps of Cadets where they've taken one building, put all of the cadets in there, and made it so that they can exercise there, so that they can get their readiness ready there, their nutrition ready, and get ready to go out and do great things. We're going to be, and I commit to it, the first historically black college and university to say we are as important to the nation's defense as Citadel. And so we envision ourselves doing that. We envision ourselves doing it. And this was personal. I'm going to tell you, it is personal. Because I don't want to sit down next to another Air Force Academy graduate or Naval or any of those places and hear about how great it is and then have to start over explaining to them the contributions of schools like Tuskegee to the national defense, which is as great, if not greater, than theirs. And so we're going to do it. And if you know where Russell is, you know where Russell is? The Russell? Used to be female dorm, depending on when you were here. Imagine that redesigned as the Corps of Cadets, where they all are there. All right, next chart. Kellogg Conference Center. Oh, boy. I have never given a presentation not got a Kellogg Conference Center question. All right? So we're going out on a limb here, and we're going to give them a commitment to you. Homecoming 2026. Homecoming 2026. That's some pressure. Not fully open, but the Dorothy Hall side, Conference Center side, dining area, bar room, partners, not just us, partners, repurposed part of it will be there. We got a plan. Now, I'm just looking around my staff because I know they're going, oh. They want to pull it back. They say, pull it back, Mr. President. No, I'm confident that we're going to be there. It's not easy, but I'm confident that we're going to be there. And I know the importance to this community, really, and to our alumni and everybody else of this, of the Kellogg Center. That's why we're putting our focus on it. We're getting a lot closer than you might think. Next chart. Look a little bit different when the doors open. Powered by, and we can't tell you by who yet, because that wouldn't be right. But the Kellogg Center powered by. So imagine that we have a partner, and we will. Next chart. All right, I want to talk very quick about a capital campaign, then we'll take whatever questions you might have. So look, I could go into a lot of detail for you. I want you to make sure that you get our book that's on the outside if we haven't passed it out, and then I think we may have some samples as well of what's going on in the comprehensive campaign. But here are the things I want you to remember. There's 3 things to remember, and if you get nothing else, you'll see these signs around the campus. Alumni participation needs to be 33%. I've been saying it since I arrived. It needs to be 33%. That's well above the industry standard. But if you're sitting in front of somebody and you say 1/3 of our alumni, 33%, are active in some way. And that should be, and I don't know if Dr. Fleming is here because he would correct me to say that's alumni giving participation. That's right, alumni giving. That's the technical term. It doesn't say how much, right? If you give me $1, your email address and a phone number, you're in. Don't let your friends come here this weekend and say they don't get our emails without you saying you know why. Because they're not on our list. And that either means, and likely may mean, not even $1 and a way of contacting them. We are 1/3 of the way there. I think it is 39,000 alumni we've cataloged, about 39,000. 1/3 of them we have that information on, or 1/3 of them we want that information on. And you can see our growth. We're growing. Help me get this. Help us get this. I know that we can do this, and it's not difficult. Once I have your email address, you're going to get lots of information from us. You're going to get lots of things from us if we come to your town, that kind of thing. That's how we can say we're actively working the alumni base, right? Or providing information to the alumni base. Next chart. We are growing, and I thank you for that. Endowment value needs to go up $200 million. It's growing. Every year that I went back, because I looked at this on the School of Veterinary Medicine, our board has dedicated a certain percentage directly to the School of Veterinary Medicine. Every year. That's how the new equipment that they get, in part, they get, right? That's what they do with the money. And then they give to what I call institutional aid. It allows us to reduce student debt and students to graduate with as little debt as possible. That's what this is all about. And we have to be careful that, if we take 4.5%, and we say 4.5% or something like that will go to institutional aid, and they take it out of endowment. You will have earned that. You've heard me say it before. You will likely have earned that in the market. And you don't have to become more dependent on the endowment because that's your financial safety net, right, in higher ed. All you have to do is take 4.5% of more. And that's more students that we're able to help. That's what this is about. Next chart. Campaign total, all of those projects that we just talked about, we want as little long-term debt as possible. Tuskegee Village, we want 0 long-term debt. Financially, we think we could figure out a way to do it that way. We want as little debt as possible on the Veterinary School of Medicine and Small Animal Clinic. Because part of our accreditation and solvency overall as a university is to show that we're financially solvent. That means pay attention to long-term debt. Next chart. And so those are your 3 thermometers. You'll see them around the campus. Do something to move the red up. Something before you leave here, okay? All right, next chart. How to support the Renaissance. Next chart. You can buy a brick. Now, some of you all have been asking me about the bricks since I got here. You can buy a brick. 101st campaign, 101 will do it. 101 will do it. Now, you say, well, $101, I want us to step back, and I want you to share this with your friends. somebody's going to spend a lot more than $101 at the bookstore this weekend. I would venture to say that there's $101 worth of scotch that's going to be purchased before Sunday afternoon. I don't know who's going to buy it. I'm not saying it. But there's a lot of space for $101 in a brick. That's my point. There's a lot of space for it if we think about it. The QR code is there. It'll be available for you. Get active on this, and we will make it ceremonial. I know that you're concerned about the commitment. We're going to make it ceremonial for you when that brick is laid down. A parent that helped you get through school, a sister or brother, someone that's, however you want to do it, whoever you want to name it after, we'll provide the avenue to do that. Next chart. Save our students. It always exists. The best way to do it is the endowment. We paid for students' balances. We've done that. Over 160 students I know about. This year, we're always doing it based on where they are. Okay? So someone asked me about save our students. We are saving our students as best we can. We don't want to send students who are making satisfactory academic progress home for financial reasons. And we do everything we can not to. Next chart. All right, next chart. All right, look. Meet me on the yard. This is our homecoming. Let's be happy about it. Dougie Fresh is on the yard here in a couple of bit. Oh, you all don't know who Dougie Fresh is? They told me that if I said Dougie Fresh, somebody was going to say 6 minutes, 6 minutes, you're on. Huh? No? All right. There are a lot of things going on this weekend, a lot of things that are designed for you. Don't let the security keep you from enjoying it. It's not for the good guys, it's for the bad guys. I want you to enjoy homecoming. I look forward to seeing you on the yard this time and many times over. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be president, and thank you for your time. If you have any questions, just give us a couple of minutes.
Thank you. At this time, we will have Q&A. Ms. Kawana Magoo has a microphone. If you could just raise your hand. We also have Mr. Pitts, who will take care of this side of the room. Can we get a mic for Dr. Harrington, please, in the front?
I can't come to you, you come to me.
Yes, ma'am. She's bringing you the microphone.
Oh, need a mic. All right. Thank you. Dr. Brown, if you do another presentation like this, I'm going to declare bankruptcy. Thank you so much for such an informative presentation. I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to do something. First of all, I had pledged $10,000 to the REACH program. I've already given $5,000. Today, I am going to complete the $10,000 with another $5,000 contribution. And finally, after hearing Booker's voice and your voice, I am pledging to the Capital Fund $50,000. Come on, Tuskegee. Come on, Tuskegee. We got the money. We ain't broke. We ain't poor. Come on, Tuskegee. Come on, alumni. Get in there and join me. Even if you pay $1 a day. Come on, Tuskegee. T.U. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. If anyone has a question, if you could please raise your hand.
I do not have a question, nor do I have Dr. Harrington's bank. But by the grace of God, Dr. Brown, I'll pledge $10,000 to the Capital Campaign.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else? Also, we do have our development and alumni engagement staff here. Our donor services team can assist you all if you would like to make a donation before you leave the chapel. They will be in the back of the room.
Okay, I just want to just thank you, Dr. Brown. I'm really excited about you being here as an alumni. I'm class of 1985, so I had some little PTSD when you was talking about the financial aid office, so I'm pushing that to the back. I don't want to get that to get involved. But what I do want to say is the alumni, we are the walking billboard for Tuskegee. So I think it's so important that we realize that, because the joke, I'm from Birmingham, so the joke people say, do you own anything other than a Tuskegee t-shirt or Tuskegee sweatshirt? And I say, no, I wouldn't be caught dead in an Alabama t-shirt or Auburn, even if somebody gave it to me. But what I want to say is, you know, we're the ones that's out there. People see us, see what we're doing. We are that walking billboard. And I have a question, and I don't even know who this question is for, because I live in Birmingham, but I go to church in Fairfield, and in past times, we have brought students here. And I noticed that, you know, we no longer have student tickets. And that's a problem, to get a student to pay $80 to come to homecoming. I think homecoming is a great environment to bring, you know, we brought church vans in years past, you know, 15, 20 students for them to see what happens on the campus of Tuskegee. Because a lot of times people are talking, they're saying, oh, I don't want to be down there in the country. And I tell them, we made our own fun. And they can see that at homecoming. So I don't know who this question is for, but do they have student tickets where high school students can pay a student price and not the $80 they got to pay today? So, because I think this is a great environment for them to see what we do, how we come back, how we celebrate, how you make your own fun. And kids don't understand that. You don't have to live in a big town, like you say, with the big ball. Because I sent both of my daughters here. That's another issue. I need to know how I can get some credit for that on my alumni giving. For sending both my daughters, because, man, I ain't recovered from that yet, but that's a separate issue. But the thing about bringing students, because I usually try to prod them to bring students, and we need to know how can they come without paying $80 a ticket.
All right, so I don't know that we have that ticket structure yet.
Or $50 a ticket.
But I think we can look at it. I think we can look at it. If you're bringing students down in a group, I am certain that we can look at that. So between Dr. Sapp and A.D. Ruffin, I think we can put a structure together for you. Yeah. All right, anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Dr. Brown, other alums. Dr. Brown, a few weeks ago, I brought some people here down to Tuskegee to visit some of the historical sites, and I understand, I guess they're part of the National Historical Programs and so forth. Can you speak to what's being done to maintain some of these facilities? Right. Because I was really disheartening and disappointed to look at the Oaks and some of the other buildings that are really falling apart. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at my wife, because she brings this up to me just about every other day about where we are at the Oaks. Now, I will say George Washington Carver is recently done and open and very nice. So that one is there. Our museum itself, the archives, I think is open and done very well. The Oaks, we need to sit down with the Park Service, and we've been trying to schedule that meeting, but we've had a little bit of challenge with the shutdown, getting them. They're not working right now. So I'm with you. So what we asked them to do at George Washington Carver, and they did, we're going to ask them to do at the Oaks as well. Both the yard, the roof, the whole thing. And you're right. If you go into the Oaks, you would be disappointed. Not in the historical nature of it, but in the upkeep of it, which you can do for a historical site. There's still things that you can do on the upkeep without changing the structure. So with you 100%. We are focused on that. As an example, we believe that the graveyard is historical. And if you notice, there are new stones there. The names are more readable. The benches have been changed, and the decorative stuff are there so that you know where we are. And part of it is lit 24/7 now to show both Carver and also Booker T. Washington's grave. So we agree with you 100%. My roommate here works on the historical aspect, the honoring our past part, and that's in our crosshairs to address. So give us just a little about government will open. We'll sit down with the Park Service, who is the partial owner of that. or the owner of that process. All right, others?
So good afternoon to you, alumni and family, to you. I want to take the opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Brown and his staff. I am a local leader here in the community. I'm a chief nurse for VA hospital, but whenever I get an opportunity, I'm hearing all the negative noise in my ear about the things that are going on with security, and I take the time to say we are grateful. And we thank you for taking the time to lay out a plan for us and our children. My children go here. One has graduated and one is here now. So I take the time to knock the noise out and tell them the reason behind it. So I would like for the alumni to join me in doing that. I want to thank A.D. Ruffin, the same thing for you. I take the time to plug in all the positive that I can because I see a lot of positive, and I want to say thank you. And I will be stopping to do my Renaissance donation as well, but in spreading the word about that as well. So thank you for what you're doing, Dr. Brown.
All right, thank you. Let me just say very quickly that all of the things that you see with security, from the gates to the wanting to the times that we close, they are very intentional, and I only take your attention to just look across the country and see what has made its way into historically black college university football games and homecomings. It's not a part of who we are. We all know that have been here and part of it, but it is a part of what the world seems to be doing somehow systematically to our game. So we don't want to be a part of that. We don't want to be labeled as that, and we don't want to put both you and our precious students in harm's way. So we're doing what we think is necessary to protect both you and them and the reputation of this university. So bear with us as we get through that. It's for the greater good. It really is for the greater good. Yes, sir.
Greetings, Dr. Brown. Greetings, everybody. I'm Ivory, class of 2015. I'm a former athlete. What's up, Coach Ruffin? Coach Ruffin was one of the coaches that I met when I first came over to Tuskegee University. I'm excited to hear all of this good news. I heard some good news today over there at the School of Allied Health, too.
Yep.
About some EMS coming here, right?
Right. Yeah, let me go right ahead. Go ahead.
But it's exciting hearing, all the good stuff that we have in store for the future. And as a former student, graduate, and athlete, it's good to come home.
All right. So while we're going to the next question, I see Mr. Lee and I see Dr. Nadeau. And if they two stand, I want to tell you something that they have worked on that you'll see relatively soon. And that is 24/7 ambulance care on the campus of Tuskegee. And that's what we were talking about. So we don't wait for the ambulance to come. We have the ambulance on the campus. We take out that wait time, especially on weekends, because that's when things happen. And importantly, who's doing the work on that? Inside of that ambulance, that's our nurses. We talked about it earlier. Those are our nurses who are part of it. So we're going to take care of ourselves, and I think that's a long time coming. I thank you all for the work on that. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Colonel Retired Michelle Shelton. I would just like to echo what one of the previous alumni mentioned. As an alumnus of Tuskegee University, as well as a parent of Tuskegee University, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you have done in the last 15 months. I mean, it has been amazing, and it truly is a renaissance. And having been coming back since class of 1992, I have seen the transformation, and I appreciate that as a Marching Crimson Piper, as a member of the former Air Force ROTC here, Detachment 015, as well as a graduate of the School of Nursing. I see the transformations occurring, and so I want to say thank you, and thank you for protecting our students, and thank you for protecting us.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, or donations.
Okay, I didn't want to monopolize all the time, but I do want to just ask the university to be patient with the alumni, with all the security, because there's going to be a lot of people here that are not going to be used to this, and just just have patience with them and with care with the security people, just to make sure they understand. There are going to be people that show up that didn't get the message that they got to have a clear bag, and then their car is at Booker T. Washington High School way out on 80. Yeah. So we need to have some sensitivity to that issue. I think it's important, and because I've been talking to some people, because I'm not a part of that boycott, because I left here 40 years ago, and I've only missed about maybe 5 homecomings in 40 years. So, but I think it's important for us to have that sensitivity with the alumni that's here that's not used to this environment. And the other thing is also, this is going to be a really small game because we're playing lane. If we play miles next year for homecoming, like we did last year, it's going to be a super duper problem. I mean, something that we need to be prepared for. That's all I'm saying, because miles brings the people, because it's a super duper rivalry. And this is just going to be like a test run for this game, and we need to be ready for next year. And normally we play miles like every other year for homecoming, and it's going to be a big deal next year for homecoming if we play miles. So whoever's planning that homecoming game from next year, if we play miles, it's going to be super duper. And one other thing I want to issue, because I was on your call, that virtual call way back then where a lot of people got upset, whatever. I wasn't one of those people got upset about people coming into the game. I was picking up a golf cart down there. Miles brought busloads of people in that, didn't get scanned. They came in with the athletes. Somehow we need to have some control of, hey, if you bringing the team in and just the cheerleaders, if you bring busloads of fans, got to make sure they pay. But anyway, that's all I want to say. But just be mindful. There's going to be some people here that don't understand. They don't do Facebook because we're getting older. And so they don't understand when they come, they can't roll a cooler in per the whatever. I don't know why that is. I saw something about that because
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyway, love y'all.
All right.
All right. Thank you all so much. A couple of quick announcements as we close. I do want to thank everyone who works at the university for all of the hard work that goes into planning homecoming. But I want to give a special thanks and shout out to our trustees. If you would please stand, the leadership team, our eminent associates that are in the room, the Tuskegee National Alumni Association executive board members, and last but not least, the Division of Development and Alumni Engagement. Thank you all so much for your support. Again, our donor services team, Mr. Freisha Gary, if you could stand and wave your hand. And is Mr. Pitts still in the room? He's probably collecting money elsewhere. Dr. Fleming, you can also see them to make your donations and your gifts. Last announcement, if you are here celebrating your class reunion, welcome and congratulations. Check-in has begun on the Avenue, or the Ave as we call it. So you can head to the Ave, you will see the check-in tent. We are ready to greet you. And again, as you walk out, if you did not get the booklet of the President's Annual Report, please make sure you grab one of those and a QR code to update your information. I'll also be out there to answer any questions you may have, so thank you all again and have a great day.